Imagine a massive factory that has been running nonstop for years. Its machines are wearing out, waste is piling up in every corner, and broken components have been left unattended. Now imagine, there is a button, a single button that, when pressed, activates a specialized team inside the factory. A team whose job is to sweep up all the waste, replace the worn-out machines, recycle the broken parts, and make everything run like new again. If we liken this to your body, that button exists, and you press it every time you fast. That process is called autophagy, a cellular rejuvenation mechanism so revolutionary that its discoverer, Japanese scientist Yoshinori Ohsumi, was awarded the Nobel Prize in 2016. And what is even more remarkable, 14 centuries before modern science uncovered all of this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had already ordained fasting for his servants. In this video, we will take a deep dive into what actually happens inside your body when you fast. What does modern science tell us? And why is fasting so much more than simply going without food? Stay until the end, because after this video, you will never look at fasting the same way again. Before we get into the benefits, let us first understand, from a medical standpoint, what exactly is Ramadan fasting. In medical terminology, Ramadan fasting is referred to as Ramadan intermittent fasting, abbreviated as RIF. It is a form of dry intermittent fasting, meaning that not only food but also all liquids, including water, are withheld from dawn until sunset. This is what sets Ramadan fasting apart from most popular intermittent fasting protocols such as the 16-8 method, which still permits water, coffee, or tea during the fasting window. Ramadan fasting is stricter, and it is precisely this uniqueness that has drawn intensive scientific investigation. Interestingly, the duration of fasting differs from country to country. Do you know why? Because the Earth's axis is tilted at 23.5 degrees. The lengths of day and night are not equal across the globe. In Indonesia, located right on the equator, we are fortunate. Fasting lasts a steady 13 hours throughout the year, regardless of which season Ramadan falls in. But in countries far from the equator, the picture is quite different. During Ramadan 2026, which falls in late winter in the Northern Hemisphere, Muslims in Helsinki, Finland fast for approximately 11 hours and 44 minutes. Meanwhile, in Canberra, Australia, which is entering autumn, fasting can last nearly 15 hours. These differences also shift each year, because the Hijri calendar is 10 to 12 days shorter than the Gregorian calendar. This means Ramadan travels through all the seasons in a cycle of roughly 33 years. At some point in the future, it will be the northern countries' turn to fast for over 18 hours when Ramadan coincides with their summer. But regardless of whether we fast for 11 hours or 15, the biological mechanisms taking place inside the body are fundamentally the same, and that is what we will explore now. Let us begin with the most vital organ, the heart. In 2024, a large-scale umbrella review was published in the journal eClinical Medicine, which is part of the Lancet Group, one of the most prestigious medical journals in the world. This review analyzed all meta-analyses of randomized controlled trials on intermittent fasting. The findings? Intermittent fasting significantly reduces total cholesterol, LDL, often called bad cholesterol, triglycerides, fasting insulin, and systolic blood pressure. It also raises HDL, the good cholesterol. To make this easier to understand, imagine your blood vessels as highways in a city. LDL consists of delivery trucks carrying goods, namely cholesterol, to shops throughout the city. If there are too many delivery trucks, goods pile up on the roadside. The roads become congested, narrow, and eventually blocked. This is what we call atherosclerosis, the leading cause of heart attacks and strokes. Now, HDL acts as the garbage trucks. Their job is to collect the unused goods and transport them back to the recycling center, the liver, to be processed and disposed of. When you eat continuously throughout the day, the LDL delivery trucks keep running without pause. The HDL garbage trucks are overwhelmed. But when you fast, the LDL trucks stop running, the roads are quiet, and now the HDL garbage trucks have the time and space to clear out all the accumulated waste. And behind all of this, there is one organ playing a central role, the liver. This may come as a surprise, but 70 to 80% of the cholesterol in your body does not come from food. It is produced by your liver itself. When insulin drops during fasting, the liver receives a signal to reduce production of VLDL, the precursor of LDL. At the same time, the liver becomes more active in pulling LDL particles from the bloodstream for processing. The result? Your blood lipid profile improves significantly. Now, a question that comes up frequently. Why does body weight drop during fasting, even though our food intake may remain the same? The answer is not simply about calories. It is about hormones, particularly insulin, and what is known as the fat-burning window. Here is how it works. Every time you eat, the pancreas releases insulin. Insulin's job is to shuttle glucose into cells for energy, and any excess glucose is stored as fat. As long as insulin levels remain high, the door to fat burning stays firmly shut. Your body is in storage mode. Now compare two scenarios. Person A eats 3 meals a day plus snacks. Their insulin spikes and dips throughout the day, almost never truly dropping low. Their body is busy storing, and storing. Fat burning may only occur for 4 to 6 hours at night during sleep. Person B fasts. They eat only at suhoor and iftar within a window of roughly 8 hours. For the remaining 16 hours, insulin stays low. Once the liver's glycogen reserves are depleted, typically around 8 to 12 hours after the last meal, the body has no choice but to burn fat for fuel. This process is called lipolysis, and it produces ketone bodies as an alternative energy source. So even if total calorie intake is the same, person B gives their body 12 to 16 hours to burn fat. Person A, perhaps only 4 hours. What is even more interesting is that fasting triggers a surge in human growth hormone, or HGH. This hormone helps preserve muscle mass while burning fat. This is why fasting differs from conventional dieting, which often causes you to lose muscle along with fat, leading to a slower metabolism and the dreaded yo-yo effect. There is also a fascinating concept known as NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. This refers to the calories burned through everyday micro-movements, tapping your foot, walking to the kitchen, climbing stairs, even fidgeting in your chair. NEAT accounts for 15 to 50% of the total calories you burn each day. During strict dieting, the body automatically reduces NEAT. You become less physically active without even realizing it. But during fasting, a surge in the hormone norepinephrine keeps you alert and active. Combined with worship activities like Taraweeh prayers, NEAT during Ramadan can actually be higher than usual. Now we come to what is perhaps the most revolutionary part of this entire discussion, autophagy. Autophagy comes from the Greek, auto meaning self, and phagein meaning to eat. Literally, autophagy means the cell eating itself. It may sound alarming, but this is in fact one of the most intelligent mechanisms the human body possesses. Here is how it works. Every day, your cells produce waste, misfolded proteins, old and inefficient mitochondria, damaged membrane components. Under normal conditions, this waste accumulates gradually. It is this very buildup that accelerates aging and increases the risk of various diseases. Think of your body as a factory. When you eat, the factory is busy receiving shipments of raw materials, unpacking, processing, storing. All energy and attention go toward logistics. The housekeeping team is given the day off. But when you fast, the shipments stop. The factory is no longer busy processing food. Now it is the housekeeping team's turn. They sweep every corner of the factory, dismantle the worn-out machines, recycle the materials into new spare parts, and ensure everything runs at peak performance. That is autophagy. And the discovery of its detailed mechanism by Yoshinori Ohsumi was so groundbreaking that it earned him the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine in 2016. The impact of autophagy on the body is far-reaching. First, skin cell rejuvenation. Cells damaged by free radicals are cleared away and replaced with new ones, resulting in brighter, more elastic skin. This is the scientific basis behind the claim that fasting keeps you looking youthful. Second, DNA protection. Cells with damaged DNA that are allowed to continue dividing can become the seeds of cancer. Autophagy identifies and destroys these cells before they have a chance to become a problem. Third, the clearance of old mitochondria, a specific process called mitophagy. Mitochondria are the powerhouses inside every cell. As we age, they become less efficient. Mitophagy recycles the old ones and stimulates the production of new ones. And fourth, the reduction of chronic inflammation. Scientists call it inflammaging, a low-grade, persistent inflammation that serves as the root cause of heart disease, diabetes, arthritis, and even Alzheimer's. Autophagy clears the triggers of this inflammation from within. But remember, and this is important, autophagy is only active when caloric intake is controlled. If you break your fast with excessive food, especially items high in sugar and saturated fat, the resulting insulin spike will immediately shut down the autophagy process. All those benefits, gone. Have you ever noticed that after getting past the initial hunger, your mind actually feels clearer during fasting? That is not just a placebo effect. There is a scientific explanation for it. When you fast, your body produces ketone bodies, particularly beta-hydroxybutyrate, abbreviated as BHB. These ketones are not merely alternative fuel for the brain. BHB also acts as a critically important signaling molecule. BHB inhibits an enzyme called HDAC, or histone deacetylase. This inhibition unlocks a genetic switch that triggers the production of a protein known as BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. Think of BDNF as fertilizer for your brain. It stimulates the growth of new neurons, particularly in the hippocampus, the area of the brain responsible for memory and learning. It strengthens connections between neurons, which form the foundation of our ability to learn and remember. And it protects existing neurons from damage. High levels of BDNF mean a brain that is healthy, adaptive, and well protected. Low levels of BDNF have been linked to depression, anxiety, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's. So when people say fasting makes the brain sharper, it is not a myth. Fasting does not add more content to your brain, but it sharpens the tool. Like a whetstone that makes a blade keener, fasting helps the brain operate at its optimal capacity. Now let us move down to the gut, to the ecosystem of your gut microbiome. Recent research has revealed something fascinating. Ramadan fasting can increase the population of a beneficial bacterium called Akkermansia mucinifila. A pilot study by Ozkol and colleagues in 2019 found a significant increase in this bacterium after 29 days of Ramadan fasting. What makes Akkermansia so special? This bacterium is unique because it does not depend on the food we digest. It feeds on the mucus lining of the gut itself. By consuming the old mucus, it stimulates the gut to produce newer, healthier, and stronger mucus. This process keeps the intestinal wall intact and prevents harmful substances from leaking into the bloodstream. People with high Akkermansia populations tend to have healthier body weight, more stable blood sugar levels, and better insulin sensitivity. And perhaps most fascinatingly, science is now discovering that gut health and brain health are interconnected through what is called the gut-brain axis. Short-chain fatty acids produced by beneficial gut bacteria can actually cross the blood-brain barrier and further boost BDNF production. So fasting benefits your brain not only from above, but also from below. Now we arrive at a topic that is sensitive yet profoundly important: fasting and cancer. Let us be clear from the outset. Fasting is not a cure for cancer. It is not a replacement for surgery, chemotherapy, or radiation therapy. However, research shows that fasting holds tremendous promise as a complementary therapy. Scientists have discovered a phenomenon called differential stress resistance. Here is the concept. When you fast, your body's normal cells receive a signal to enter protection mode. They slow down their division, conserve energy, and become more resilient. It is as though they put up a shield. As a result, cancer cells become extremely vulnerable. And when chemotherapy is administered under these conditions, its effect on cancer cells is far more devastating, while healthy cells remain relatively protected. Preclinical studies have even shown that cycles of fasting combined with chemotherapy can produce long-term cancer-free survival in animal models. However, and this is crucial to understand, the effect of fasting on cancer is a double-edged sword. During prevention and at early stages, autophagy helps clear abnormal cells before they develop into tumors. But at advanced stages, ironically, established cancer cells can hijack the autophagy system to obtain energy and actually survive longer. Therefore, this message is non-negotiable. If you or someone close to you is undergoing cancer treatment, consulting with an oncologist is absolutely essential before deciding to fast. Before you get too excited, there is one message that needs to be underscored in the boldest possible terms. Every single benefit we have discussed, from improved lipid profiles, fat burning, and autophagy, to increased BDNF and anti-cancer potential, all of them apply only if your eating patterns at suhoor and iftar remain healthy and balanced. If you break your fast with sugary syrups, rich coconut milk desserts, heaps of fried food, and mountains of rice, then the autophagy that was painstakingly activated over 13 hours will be immediately extinguished by an insulin spike. The fat that had started burning will be stored right back. The lipid improvements will be reversed. Fasting gives your body a golden opportunity, but what you eat at iftar and suhoor determines whether that opportunity is seized or squandered. And there is one more thing that is equally important. Ramadan fasting, while immensely beneficial for most healthy individuals, is not automatically safe for everyone. Certain groups require special attention and must consult a doctor before fasting. These include individuals with uncontrolled diabetes, because the risk of hypoglycemia is very real. Patients with chronic kidney disease, especially those on dialysis, due to the risk of dehydration and electrolyte imbalances. Those with severe heart conditions, pregnant and breastfeeding mothers, and individuals currently undergoing cancer treatment. Islam itself provides rukhsa, a concession, for those who are ill or in certain conditions to be exempted from fasting. This reflects that Islamic law takes the health and safety of its followers into careful consideration. We have covered a great deal today, from how fasting supports heart health, optimizes metabolism, and activates a Nobel Prize-winning cellular rejuvenation program, to how it nourishes the brain through BDNF and the gut-brain axis, and its potential as an ally in the fight against cancer. And all of these scientific discoveries, made only in recent decades by modern science, bring us back to a single verse that was revealed 14 centuries ago. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, "And to fast is better for you if only you knew." QS Al-Baqarah 184. Subhanallah. Long before humanity knew of autophagy, BDNF, lipolysis, or Akkermansia muciniphala, Allah had already ordained fasting and promised that within it lies extraordinary goodness. Ramadan fasting is not merely about abstaining from food and drink. It is an act of worship that touches every dimension of our humanity, spiritual, physical, mental, and social. It is a gift from the Creator who knows what is best for His creation. If this video is beneficial, please share it with your family and friends. Hit the like button and subscribe so that we can continue producing content like this. For a more in-depth discussion complete with scientific references, read the full article on Medium Islam Digital Nusantara. The link is in the description. And if you would like to learn more about Islam and science within a warm community, join us on the Telegram group Belajar Dua Belas Jam. The link is also in the description. May this Ramadan be our best Ramadan yet. May our fasting be accepted, and may we reap every benefit that has been promised, both in this world and in the hereafter. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.